Hey guys, it's Hunter. Welcome back to another episode of Askgufish. There's a lot to cover this week, so get comfortable, do me a favor, and if at any time you're enjoying this video, make sure to hit that like button. It actually really helps out, and let's jump into your questions. Thoughts on the Dean 2020 lineup? You know what, I'll be honest, and I mean no offense to the Dean fans, like Stay Metal Ray, I love your videos, bro. I don't keep up with Dean. It doesn't seem like there's that much buzz around any of their new models either. I mean, there was the new Kerry King model, but that was, I'll try not to trigger any of the Slayer fans. It's not something that I would personally consider good looking. Maybe I'm just in the wrong Facebook groups, but they don't seem to pop up nearly as much as other contemporary brands like Schecter or LTD. Even at NAMM, they did have a presence, but they were a little incognito with an invite-only private room, and I didn't know anyone there, so I didn't get an invite. Lewis, Tone King, has a couple of videos from the Dean room, but he might be the only one. It's kind of bizarre, honestly, how little coverage there's been. But yes, they do have new guitars for 2020, so let's talk through it. Let's start with the artist models. We already went over the very interesting looking Maleficent / earwig Kerry King model. Can't afford it anyways. Moving on, there's a Vinnie Moore semi-hollow, alder body, set 3-piece maple neck, Pal Ferro fingerboard, Dean DMT pickups, Floyd Rose 1000, Grover locking tuners. I mean, it's pretty well spec'd. Not gonna lie though, when I saw this guitar with no context, I thought that Paul Gilbert had jump shipped to Dean, but nope, this is a completely different dude's guitar. And unlike Paul Gilbert's models, which have the painted on F-holes, this one is actually a semi-hollow. Then there's 3 new dime models. Still not really sure how I feel about Dean releasing so many models, especially lower end ones with Dime's name on it. Case in point, the first is an ML with the Cowboys from Hell album art as the top to commemorate the album's 30th anniversary. It's $400, basswood body, bolt-on maple neck, rosewood fingerboard. I mean, it seems like a cash grab, honestly. It's a collectible at a super accessible price point. I mean, it'll sell, but it's super low end, like nothing close to what Dime would play. Although it does have the traction control knobs, which Dime originally made by stabbing regular speed knobs with a hot soldering iron to make little dents. So I do appreciate that detail. Then there's the Dimaflage ML. This one's a mid-tier guitar. Mahogany body, mahogany neck, Pal Ferro fingerboard. It does have a Seymour Duncan dimebucker in the bridge, but the neck is a DMT design, and then a Floyd Rose special. I mean, I get it. There are a lot of younger Dime fans that are more likely to pick up the guitar more if it's got Dime's name on it. Now the Razorback Lightning is where it's at for Dime fans looking for a decent pro guitar though. Korean made, mahogany body, mahogany neck, Pal Ferro fingerboard, Floyd Rose 1000, Duncan Dimebucker 59 pickup set. The Lightning theme is more famous on the ML, I think. They made a lower end Lightning version of the Razorback a while ago. Now it's at the Pro Selects level. The Razorback is such a wacky shape. It already looks like a lightning bolt, so I think this really works. The most interesting artist model for me this year though is Carl Sanders' new Gate of Sethu V. Sanders is one of the guitarists in the death metal group Nile, and the graphics on this guitar are insane. Been staring at it for a while. Don't really know what's going on, but it's badass. I will say, whether you're into them or not, Dean has always been the king of these custom, intricate graphics. Gold hardware, Duncan distortion, and Invader combo, so, you know, great jazz guitar. The main focus of the lineup, though, is on the Select series. High-spec Indonesian-made models that'll run you about $1,000, some more, some less, starting with the Exile, which is a completely new style for Dean. It's a bolt-on double-cut design aimed more towards the modern player. Forearm bevel, tummy cut, rounded neck heel. It looks like they were designed to compete directly with Ibanez or Schecter, though there are a couple things that differentiate them. So these come in 6 or 7 string versions with your choice of string through or floating trem. The string through models have 2 variations, natural quilt top or satin burl, while the Floyd 1000 versions only have the satin burl. Alder bodies, 3-piece maple necks, and ebony fingerboards with 24 jumbo frets, 16-inch radius, which, as I understand it, is very flat compared to Dean's normal offerings, slim D neck shapes, which, again, is something that modern shredders like to see. And finally, this year, we're seeing EMG get some solid love. Each guitar in the series comes with a 57 TW and a 66 TW pickup combo. These are still active, but more PAF-y, and the TW means they're splittable. And they look sick on the burl especially. I am kind of surprised at the 3-piece maple neck, though. When I saw the little preview images of the front of the guitars, I was totally expecting like a 5-piece maple walnut or something. Also surprised the Grover tuners aren't locking for convenience sake, but that's okay. So while these aren't really my type of guitar on paper, I do love the aesthetic theme. Satin Blue Burst Poplar Burl top with brushed chrome hardware. Fuck yeah. Next is the Modern 24, which, funnily enough, has a more traditional dinky style body compared to the Exile. Now, this isn't really a new model for this year, but they have added new finishes in classic white and flame top trans cherry. The bigger talking point with this one is that they've changed up the logo to something that's very similar to the one on the bright pink custom zone. And apparently this was done because while on the more extreme shapes, you can tell that a Dean is a Dean, but on the more traditional shapes, people weren't really sure from the small wing logo what it was, so now you can read it. And it's also being utilized on Dean's Nash Vegas Select Series. This is Dean's take on the T-style guitar, which has been reimagined for 2020. Comes in two finishes, black satin and metallic red. The previous Nash Vegas wasn't too dissimilar to a lot of other dual humbucker tellies, telly control scheme and everything. This one though, first of all, the body is made of basswood, which is quite uncommon for this body shape. 3-piece maple neck, ebony fingerboard with a 12-inch radius, and then the bridge is a tune-o-matic with the stop bar, so it's more like what you'd see on the Charvel Duponlier models. The toggle is in a completely different place to most T-style guitars. It's on the horn, so if you're used to like the Explorer or ML placement, you'll feel right at home. It's got the same pickup combo as the Mono 24, a super hot ceramic TB5 in the bridge, and an APH1 in the neck. It's kind of a wacky combo on paper. The APH1 is like PAF, low output, Alnico 2 humbucker. It's super warm, super chill. Then the custom trembucker is a high output ceramic monster of a pickup. So I guess the idea is together this guitar can cover a ton of ground. In addition to the stop tail, there's also a Floyd version, but you kind of already know what that's all about. Floyd 1000 series trem, which again, super solid, and I'm very happy to see is becoming the standard on high mid-range imports. Now, it was last year, I think, that Dean introduced an Ocean Burst Select Series Z. And if I had to guess, it did well because, wow, they've really doubled down on the Ocean Burst. There's not one, not two, but 5 new Select Series Ocean Burst models. There's an ML quilt, a V quilt, an Icon Flame, a Thoroughbred quilt, and a caddy quilt with a Floyd. Oh man, the caddies are ugly. I actually get a lot of requests for these since they're part Les Paul, but no thank you. Anyways, they all have roughly the same specs, mahogany body with a 3-piece set through mahogany neck, ebony fingerboard, 22 jumbo frets. What's sick is that on these guitars, even though the rest is gloss to give it a nice shine and emphasize the quilt or the flame, the neck is actually satin for speed and comfort. And upon further research, it seems like they do this on all the Select Series models, which is really cool. As long as it's got the Select in the name, you're getting a satin neck. Pickups are a Seymour Duncan custom jazz combo. I've never really bonded with the custom, but there are definitely worse pickups. And apparently Duncan sandblasts the pole pieces exclusively for Dean. I mean, I'll take their word for it. It's kind of hard to see from any of the photos or videos. And overall, that look and feature set, and you can get it in your favorite Dean shape for under $1,000, that's pretty decent. And slightly related to those is the new classic black Icon Select. There's already a Thoroughbred Select and a Caddy Select in this color, and Dean's just rounding out the lineup. Same specs and everything as the Ocean Burst Flame, but if that's too loud, you can save $50 by going with the more subtle look. There's a 3-pickup Caddy in Classic Black as well. It's very similar to the existing Caddy, but with an additional APH1 in the middle, and instead of a 2-volume, 2-tone configuration, it's got a single volume, single tone, with a 5-way rotary switch. I like that a lot, actually. A 5-way rotary switch makes way more sense than the 3-way switch Gibson puts on theirs, but I still think it's got a look. Actually, on the semi-hollow front, Dean's got a new gold and white Colt. It's got a Bigsby and a Piezo, or Piezo, who knows? I had no idea Dean even made guitars like this. I thought they were all about the metals, so I learned something new. Clearly, I'm not a huge Dean guy. I was learning all sorts of new things while researching this lineup. It seems like this year Dean is really focusing their product line. There aren't too many new models, and a lot of them seem to be expansions on existing Select Series offerings. So they're really gunning for that $1,000-ish price point, that sweet spot where you can have pro-level specs and still have accessible pricing. Focus is good. There's a lot for existing Dean fans to get excited about. That being said, as someone who's not already a Dean fan, there's nothing here that's super exciting for me. I mean, let's not fool ourselves, that bright blue single cut, it looks real nice. But it's also like one of the least Dean guitars out of the new models, if that makes sense. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the new Deans? Do you like them? You don't like them? And do you want to see demos on this channel? As I said, I kind of don't know anybody over there, but if there's enough interest, I'll reach out and I'll see what I can make happen. Pull in the top right. Before we get into the next question, I want to give a shout out to today's sponsor, DistroKid. As you may or may not have heard me talk about before, I'm currently in the process of bringing on video editors to free up some more time to do stuff like the mod projects and get content out more regularly, and sponsors are a huge factor in making that happen. So DistroKid is hands down the absolute best service I've found for distributing your music, getting your music out there onto all the different platforms. Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon, Spotify, others that I'm forgetting about right now. Literally all you do is enter your information and tick boxes. It's so easy. What also sets them apart from everyone else is how inexpensive it is. Unlike other services, you don't pay them a percentage for anything you make off of sales and streams. Pricing starts at just a flat $20 to upload as much as you want, and you keep all your earnings. You even get that Spotify check mark, which is cool. Not gonna lie, it feels good. There's a ton more features I could touch on, but then we'd never get into the next question. Stuff like you can add credits and liner notes, or sync to lyrics, or obtaining licenses for cover songs, which from experience can be an absolutely horrible, convoluted pain in the ass. One is, if you're creating music and you're looking to make money off of it, you should be using DistroKid. Also, massive thanks for their support on this episode, and now let's get into the next question. Thoughts on the Gibson Slash collection? You know what, I actually really like this, like the concept of an artist collection. And also Les Pauls. Even though they're super expensive and I can't afford them, that's the point of these guitars of desire, right? Anyways, there's 3 models in the Slash collection, 2 Les Pauls and 1 J45 acoustic. First up, there's the Slash Les Paul Standard, which comes in 2 of the classic finishes found on late 50s Les Pauls that Slash is best known for playing. There's the November Burst, inspired by the guitar he played in the November Rain video. And then there's the Appetite Burst, inspired by the guitar he played in the Welcome to the Jungle video. Since these are based on classic Les Pauls, they have the classic Les Paul specs: mahogany body, maple cap, which is AAA flame instead of AA because it's a special edition, mahogany neck with a vintage 50s profile, and rosewood fingerboard. Then there's the limited edition Slash Les Paul Standard, which comes in 2 more modern finishes, which he's been playing on more recent tours. There's Anaconda Burst and Vermilion Burst. I love these so much. Now, strangely, unlike just about every other Slash signature guitar, Gibson or Epiphone, including his 2018 Anaconda Burst, these don't come with his signature Seymour Duncan pickups. Instead, they've got what's listed as custom Burstbucker Alnico 2s. That's interesting. I don't know if that means that Slash is leaving Seymour Duncan, which would be massive. Maybe as part of his close collaboration with Gibson, we'll get the first Gibson signature pickups. Or maybe they just wanted to closely replicate the pickups in Slash's actual Appetite for Destruction guitar, so went with custom winds instead of the existing production option. Either way, these pickups are found exclusively in just these Slash collection guitars. And then there's the J45, which is of course the acoustic element of the collection, available in Vermilion Burst and November Burst. I'm actually not quite sure what sets this apart from the regular J45. When it comes to acoustics, I'm purely a Martin guy, and I don't even play acoustic that often, so I barely know anything about them. But I do like how they've taken one modern and one classic finish to add some consistency and unity to the collection. This being a metal channel, I don't think anybody really comes here for the acoustic information anyways, so let's move on. So what I said at the beginning, I love this concept of an artist collection, and I would love to see more of it. I mean, obviously you can't do it for everyone. Not every guitarist is popular enough to have a successful artist collection, but I'm talking like Joe Bonamassa, for example. That guy has had so many cool signatures, some of which could be standard models all the time, like Les Paul Standard, and then some limited, which could swap in or out, like the Amos Flying V. Or, as an Epiphone fan, I would love to see some affordable Epiphone artist collections. Like this Slash collection in Epiphone form would be dope. That'd be really cool, since the Gibson versions are quite pricey. I'm sure Epiphone versions would sell real well. And I feel like a lot of Epiphone signatures are really cool guitars, regardless of whether you're a fan of the artist or not. Stuff like the Hafey signature models, 68 style Les Paul Customs with access neck heels, active EMGs available in all white or all black. Those are guitars that anyone, even non-Trivium fans, can get behind. Now, according to Hafey's Instagram though, the current models are being completely discontinued in favor of a brand new lineup. We have literally no other information on that at the moment, whether they're just updating the older models since Hafey is now a Fishman artist. But if it turns out that they're making Hafey Explorers or something, which he's played in the past, I wouldn't mind the old Les Pauls being the standard models and those being limited, but that may be my Les Paul and Trivium bias coming out. Anyways, what do you think of the Slash collection, and what do you think about the artist collections going forward? I'd love to know. Thoughts on the Ibanez PIA? Alright, I liken the PIA to a car redesign. It stays true to the spirit of the heritage, but brings it more in line with today's trends and expectations. So I'm not like a super Ibanez fanboy by any means, but I think the PIA is long overdue. While Ferrari comes out with a new update every 5 years or so, the base white gem design was kind of frozen in time, practically unchanged from its launch in 1987. So for 2020, Ibanez and Steve Vai have finally decided it's time to launch the GEM successor. PIA stands for Paradise in Art, and what you really don't see from the stock photos and product pages is just how gorgeous they are in person. Now, to be fair, the original GEM wasn't a bad looking guitar at all. Like, it's arguably one of the most well-known and iconic guitar designs of all time. But with it being basically the same for the last 33 years, it was starting to look a bit dated. The PIA is still recognizable as Steve Vai's signature, but modernized. The body woods haven't changed, still has an alder body, 5-piece maple walnut neck, and a rosewood fingerboard, with a 16.9-inch radius. Gross, so flat. 21st to 24 frets are scalloped, which has been done before in gems. The main silhouette is the same, but there's more of a floral theme going on. The Tree of Life inlay is more curvy, more streamlined. They're calling it the Blossom inlay. The monkey grip, swear to God, that's the actual name of the handle, has been replaced with 2 flower petal cutouts, 1 beveled. Gold hardware, same floating edge tremolo as the gem, though now the bar is made of carbon fiber rather than metal. In person, it actually feels quite bizarre. Like, it's a little thicker than the standard trem bar, and while it's sturdy, it's also very, very light. It's just effortless to move it. It only comes stock on the highest end MIJ signatures like this and the Chrome Satriani model. You can actually buy this separately. Ibanez calls it the ultralight tremolo arm. It'll work on any existing edge trem. On Amazon, it's like 80 bucks, which is really expensive for a tremolo arm, but it's also completely different to anything else you've probably tried. Another little thing, the back plate is now magnetic. I love it. So like if you need to adjust the tension screws for the trem or anything, super easy, just pull it off, and when you're done, it just snaps right back on. Fucking magnets. How do they work? It's not something you need to adjust very often, but yeah, it's super convenient. I'm all about features that make things easier. Can't wait for this to start catching on. Stainless steel frets, lumen lays for the first time on a Vi model. The pickups though, just wow. The middle single has like a laser engraved gold cover. Then the humbucker covers are multi-layered, so there's a decorative gold cut laser Baroque style outer layer, then an inner layer with floral outlines that's colored to match the finish. And speaking of finishes, the PIA comes in 4 of them. There's Stallion White, Envy Green, Panther Pink, and Sundew Gold. I love how the plastic knobs have been replaced with like perloid covered domes that also matches the finishes. I've decided that I'm over those white plastic control knobs. Speed knobs or metal domes, that's where it's at. But it's not just the aesthetics. The gem came with Vi's preferred DiMarzio Evolution pickup set, while the PIA will have the brand new DiMarzio Utopia set, get it, developed specifically for just this guitar. From the website description, it looks like these will have the same bass character as the Evolutions, but with more emphasis on the bass and treble, and less emphasis on the mids. So I guess a more modern sounding pickup set. Yeah, the PIAs, I totally get why people love these and the gems so much. And overall, I think this is a really tasteful evolution of the design. It's the same vibe, it's a little over the top, but not too much so. $3,500 is a pretty significant investment, so that's a little steep for me for specs that I'm not totally in love with. But there are a few things on the PIA, the carbon fiber trem bar, the magnetic backplate, the multi-layered laser cut pickups, that I'm a huge fan of. I mean, I'm excited to see if and when these features make it down to the more affordable premium series guitars. But that's just what I think. What do you think of the PIAs? Do you like them? Do you think that they should have kept the gems alongside them as well? I'd love to know. Now, of course, it is time for the fan favorite section. It's the high praise of the week. I just want to punch this guy square in the middle of his eyes. Probably is something new with your glaring insecurity. That'll do it for this week's episode of Ask-a-Fish. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss any new uploads. Feel free to leave your thoughts on anything discussed or your questions for future episodes in the comments. As always, thanks so much for watching. You've been awesome, and I'll see you for the next video.